well, there are three bills that all work in tandem to cover a lot of different aspects of this landscape. So the first one is the SHIELD Act, and it's federal criminal legislation around the production and the distribution of any sort of sexual images. So this would cover both authentic images that have been knowingly shared without somebody's consent. And also it's been amended to cover AI-generated images as well. And right now, 48 states plus DC have laws, criminal laws, against sharing intimate images without somebody's consent. But, you know, I don't know how familiar you are with the state versus federal legal system in the US. All of those laws vary widely between them. And so in every state, you have different standards of evidence, different wording of the laws, different accountability for perpetrators. And also, when it comes to any crime that happens on the internet, a lot of times it's crossing state lines. And so that can get very tricky when we talk about jurisdictions and holding people accountable. What the SHIELD Act would do is create a federal law. And so every person, no matter where they are in the United States, are going to be accountable in this same way. And it creates minimum requirements for state laws as well. And so this is a really great starting place. And advocates and Congress people, you know, it's Senator Klobuchar who's really the driving force behind the SHIELD Act. And this has been several years in the making. And it's really a testament to the advocates and to the organizations and really to the survivors who have brought attention to this issue. So that's sort of the baseline bill that would be addressing image-based sexual abuse. And then working in tandem with that is the Take It Down Act, which the SHIELD Act protects individuals and it also holds individuals accountable. What the Take It Down Act does is bring the platforms into this picture. So right now, there's no law that requires social media platforms and other types of websites and platforms to take things down upon request from a survivor, unless there's a copyright violation involved. And so there are organizations who assist survivors with copywriting images of themselves to be able to approach a platform and say, legally, you have to take this down because it's my property. But there are restrictions to that. You know, they had to have created that image themselves in order to be able to claim it. They can't just be the person featured in the image. And so what the Take It Down Act does is require that every platform have a procedure in place for people to make requests for things to be taken down. And then once that request is sent in, they're required to respond to it within 48 hours. And that's so beneficial for survivors of this type of violence, because right now, some companies are really good about this, some are not. A lot of times sending a takedown request can just be like sending it into the void, and they'll try and try and try and they'll never hear back, and it can take months, years for them to get any sort of resolution to this. And so this act is really valuable. And it also has more language in it around kind of the commercial aspects of this, because this is an industry. I mean, the creation of AI-generated pornography, it's an industry, and people are making a ton of money off of this. And so what this act is trying to do is put the power back into the hands of the survivors, and to say you have a right to be able to get a response from these companies, and to be able to control these images yourself. So that's the second part. And then the third part of this is the Defiance Act, and where the SHIELD Act criminalizes image-based sexual abuse, the Defiance Act creates a path for civil action. So a lot of times it can be, you know, whenever you're dealing with criminal offenses, the standard of evidence is pretty high. And you can't necessarily, and that can be really difficult to achieve with online violence, because again, there's the anonymity aspect. And so you have to be able to make an ironclad case that somebody has done this, you know, find the specific person. So civil action there's a lower bar. And so there's more resolutions that can happen with civil action. And so the Defiance Act says, if anyone who creates and distributes these images of somebody else, they can be, you can sue them basically and try to get compensation from them. So that is the federal legal landscape right now. Excitingly, the SHIELD Act just passed in the Senate just on July 11th. And so they're really fierce advocates for all of these laws. And so we are hopeful that they're going to move forward and hopefully pass this year, hopefully.